Right, Monday morning again. Seems to come around very quickly, doesn't it? We'll see. It's 1st of Feb. We'll see what we can get up to this week. It's we had a very wet week last week, 45 mil of rain. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go out and get any hedge cutting done, but we'll get some maintenance stuff done in the workshop. So as you can see, I had a change of plan. I wasn't feeling very enthusiastic for standing in a cold barn on a Monday morning in February, working on the Vaderstad drill, so I thought I would fire up the tractor, some hedge cutting, and sit in the warmth for the morning, and then we may go back to the barn in the afternoon. I'm coming to the end of my hedge cutting now anyway, so, well, I'm coming to the end of the hedge cutting that is dry enough to travel. I'm up at farm 2 and I'm down on the light ground, driving on grass margins. So although we had a lot of rain last week, it's travelling fine. It always does down here. So I'll probably get finished down here this morning with the hedge cutting, so we will probably go back to the shed, back to the barn this afternoon and start doing some work there. I do want to give this tractor a wash because I haven't washed it for 2 or 3 weeks, so that I might do that this afternoon. Right, I got you on head cam, so I'll try not to swing my head around too much. First obstacle of the day, got a tree hanging out of the hedge, so we're going to deal with that. We've got this chainsaw, Milwaukee chainsaw. I'm going to do a review video on this in the next couple of weeks, so if you've got any questions I should be able to answer them in that video. I've got some safety glasses here somewhere, stop me getting sawdust in my eyes. Don't need ear protection with this because it's so quiet. Put these on, stop me getting sawdust in my eyes. Yeah, I'm going to do it, like I said, I'm going to do a review video. I used it a fair bit over the Christmas holiday, chopping up logs. So, yeah, we're going to just quickly chop that down and get it out, chop it up and get it out of the way. Don't have to check the petrol, you just have to check the battery's fully charged. Right, we go in here somewhere. There we go. Let's chop him up. As you can see, it works really well. It's a really good job. Just so nice to be able to just grab it out of the toolbox and just go with it, just use it. we'll chuck all this in the hedge. Make a bit of ground cover for the wildlife. Stuff all that there. Job's a good one. I might log that up and chuck that right in the hedge. Job's a good one. Alright, we can carry on now. It looks like somebody had a bit of a crash. I guess they must have hit the tree and fallen to the floor. It'll be the guy that lives in the house just up there. He's always flying aeroplanes. I'm surprised he ain't come and picked it up though. Alright, welcome back. It's Tuesday now. As you can see, hedge cutting again. And yeah, it's just about dry enough. I thought I'd save the indoors jobs, the workshop jobs, till tomorrow, because it looks like they're forecasting rain for tomorrow. So I thought this morning, whilst I'm sat in the tractor cutting hedges, I could spend a bit of time answering some of your questions and comments from the last few weeks. I do read all the comments and I do appreciate them. Thank you for all your comments and questions, much appreciated, and do continue to ask me questions. I do read all the comments. As you probably noticed, I do struggle to find time to answer them all or write back to them. So we thought we might as well have a go at doing it now. Alright, so I thought I'd start with comments that I've had on the PROFORGE Handibox toolbox that I've got on the front of the tractor. I noticed that there was a couple of comments about the lid, the way it opens, and they said that it should open backwards rather than forwards. Now personally, I haven't got any problems with it opening forwards. I seem to have pretty good access to my tools that are in the box. I don't really find it a problem. I think the reason why the lid does open forward rather than backwards is because where the bracket for the top link is welded on, it would make it very hard for the lid to hinge backwards. I also noticed that a couple of people commented saying that it would be better off, or they would prefer it as a front weight rather than an empty toolbox. You can get it as a front weight, and I think I did mention this in the first video. You can have it as a 750 kilo weight, a 1 ton, a 1200 or a 1500 kilo weight. And also with the weight, you do still get some storage. You get the lid and some storage on top of the weight. This time of year I don't need a front weight on. The tractor's plenty heavy enough to handle this hedge trimmer, and I find it much more useful to be able to have a toolbox on the front that I can carry my hedge trimmer or my chainsaw and my toolbox, things like that. So I quite often see people asking why we have so many hedges in England and the UK. They ask, why don't we just rip all the hedges out and have massive fields with no boundaries? And that'd be great. I can think of a few hedges I'd like to rip out actually and make bigger fields, but we're not allowed to. Now the hedges are there for a few different reasons. One of them, and probably one of the main ones, is to preserve natural habitat and natural wildlife. you know, it's where the birds and the insects live, and lots of other natural wildlife live in the hedgerows. Basically, that's where they go to live and get some peace and quiet, until I come along with a hedge cutter anyway. And another reason, they act as a natural windbreak, so it can prevent soil erosion, it prevents crop damage. In really wet conditions, you can get runoff, which is basically soil erosion, isn't it? You get soil trying to leave the field from runoff, which the hedgerows help with that. But another reason why we don't rip out the hedgerows is basically because it's against government rules. Now, if we wanted to rip out a hedgerow, we would have to put an application into Natural England, and I expect the only way you'd get permission, they'd give you permission, is if you were going to rip it out and replace it with a nice new fresh hedge. So yeah, they don't just let us rip out hedgerows for no reason. Basically, the farm gets paid to follow government rules or EU rules in an environmentally friendly way, and then the farm receive government money. So, but that's all about to change, because obviously we've left the EU. I won't go into it too much because I don't know enough about it. I'm not going to try and be an expert on something that I don't know a lot about. But the new scheme, I know the new scheme is going to be the Elm scheme, which a lot of you will already know. Another government rule that we have to follow when it comes to hedge cutting is we're not allowed to cut hedges between the end of February and the beginning of September, and that's so to give the birds time to nest in the hedges. Basically, you will have seen that last week I put up an extra, like a midweek video of just hedge cutting. Now, the reason why I've done that was because a few times I've seen it, people writing in the comment section saying, you know, they really just like watching hedge cutting, it's therapeutic, they could watch it all day long. So I thought, why not just make just a hedge cutting video and see what happens. And yeah, it's got over 11,000 views, which is great considering it's literally just hedge cutting. But it was actually, the reason why I made it was because I saw somebody called Northern Farmer commented asking for that. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. As forecast, it is raining, and I think we're at the end of hedge cutting now, or pretty much. All the roadsides are done, all the tracks are done, and the fields that are left, they're too wet, so I'm going to give it a good wash. Hasn't been washed for a few weeks, so here we go. Right, job's a good one. Just need to grease up the hedge cutter now, and then on to the next job. So I noticed I've been getting some questions about my gloves, Milwaukee gloves. I will put a link in the description, and that will take you to the Milwaukee website, and then you can choose from which ones you want. They do several different types, and then it will take you to your local dealer, tell you who your local Milwaukee dealer is, and then you can purchase them that way. Okay, I've got the drill, the Vaderstad drill, hooked onto the 3350, and I've had a quick look around it, and I'm going to show you a few things what need doing on it. The lighting isn't great in here, but for the rest of the video I've got a light on a tripod that I'll bring with me, and that will help. So yeah, I might make this a two-part video, because I can imagine it's probably getting a bit long now. So yeah, two-part video this is probably going to be, because I still want to do a review on that hedge trimmer at the end of the video, because that's going to be coming off next week. We're pretty much done with hedge cutting. So yeah. Right, I'm having trouble with this bloody GoPro at the moment. It keeps switching itself off for no reason. Battery's charged, so we might have to upgrade to a new one. I have been looking at the DJI Osmo, so I may switch to that because these GoPros, they're good. You get a really good picture, good quality picture, but they're just unreliable. So right, hopefully it's going to work now. It keeps switching off, the bloody thing. So starting at the front, we've got a puncture on one of these headstock wheels, and we've got a loose wheel scraper there. We've got grease points all over there. I'm going to change all these wheel mark eradicator points, 6 of those. I'll put new ones of those on. These are what I call the working discs. These just chop trash, stubble, straw and cloddy soil just to get you a better seed bed. Now I've got several of these have got string wrapped around them. Can you see that? Right there, several of them have got that. Leveling paddles, don't need to do anything with them. We've got 2 rows of seed discs. I think the discs are all fine. We don't need to change any of those. But we have got a broken seed coulter. Can you see it dangling down? That snapped off last time I was using it. Back in, what was it, end of October I think. That snapped off and I didn't even realise. But they've also, I think some of those have also got string wrapped around them. So we've got to get that out. And then here we haven't got any punctures at the back, but what we have got is string wrapped around the bearings or the hubs. So we've got to get that out. And then following harrows right at the back, but they're all fine. Occasionally they come loose, but I think they're all good. Not a lot else to do really. I'll unfold it and check all the pipes. Got a load of string there, look.